Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on how to use apostrophes, or how not to use apostrophes. Misuse of apostrophes is something you probably see every day, and you might ask, well, why does it matter? It matters in the same way as it matters whether you put your t-shirt on inside out, because it conveys a message that you're lazy when it comes to punctuation. And in a formal email or blog entry or an exam response, this isn't the message that you want to send really, is it? It also matters because punctuation conveys a message just like words do. It tells us something. Now, there are only two ways to use an apostrophe. One, to show that something belongs to someone, and we call this possession. Two, to show that you have shortened a word by removing some letters, and we call this omission. Omit means to leave something out. Let's look at possession. To indicate that something belongs to someone or something, we use an apostrophe. Example 1. Miss Roden's classroom. The apostrophe comes before the S in this sentence to show that the classroom belongs to me. Example 2. The city's high street is home to a range of shops. Again, the apostrophe is added before the S to show that the high street belongs to the city. Example 3. The student's work was of a high standard. Once again, the apostrophe is present before the S to show that the work of a particular student was very good. However, when we are talking about something that belongs or relates to more than one person or thing, we add the apostrophe after the S. For example, the student's work was of a high standard. Adding the apostrophe after the S shows the reader that you are talking about a group rather than an individual. You can see how misplacing the apostrophe in that example might send out a very confusing message. Now let's look at omission. We use an apostrophe to show omission when we contract words to make them shorter. Contractions make a word sound more informal or conversational, and they also help to get your point across quickly. Example, you cannot use that because you do not have permission and it is against the rules. That sentence doesn't use any contractions and it sounds long and quite formal. When we contract certain words, it sounds a little less aggressive, more conversational, and takes less time to say or to write down. For example, you can't use that because you don't have permission and it's against the rules. Now, did you notice how the apostrophe replaces the letters that we've omitted or taken out of the words? So cannot becomes can't. We've removed the second N and O and replaced them with an apostrophe, and we've done the same with don't and it. This brings us onto the it is versus its debate. People often use the wrong form of its, and this makes their writing sound confusing. So when do we use its with an apostrophe? Well, you only add an apostrophe when you are using it in place of it is to show that you're removing the letter I from the verb is. So in the example, it is cold, we contract it to it's cold. When you use it without an apostrophe, the word is a determiner used to make reference to something or someone you've previously mentioned. For example, the car is missing one of its wheels. The dog ran away from its owner. The child has lost its toy. None of those examples needs an apostrophe. Now let's discuss when not to use an apostrophe. Plurals. One of the most common errors people make is using an apostrophe for a plural. A plural is a word used to describe more than one of something by adding the suffixes s, es or ies. The suffix you add depends upon the specific word that you're pluralising, so it can be tricky. Let's look at the following examples. 1. Those cakes look delicious. We've added the suffix s to cake. 2. My classes all worked hard today. We've added the suffix es to class. 3. Athletes from 10 countries competed in this event. We've swapped y for the suffix ies in that example. When using a plural, you never ever use an apostrophe. So, the cats are cute. No apostrophe is needed. We haven't removed any letters and we're not talking about anything belonging to the cats, so we don't use an apostrophe. My pens are running out of ink. No apostrophe needed. Again, we're not saying that the pens own anything or that we've missed out any letters, so we don't use an apostrophe. Sandwiches for sale. No apostrophe needed. So just to recap, you only use an apostrophe for possession or omission, and you never ever use an apostrophe for plurals. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. If you found it useful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel.